Hello, fabulous superstar Gemini. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of June 2025. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. And a limited number of consultations are available with me or with Andy of Wise Ass Astrology over the course of this summer. New dates have just been released of availability. You can learn a lot more and book your reading now. Links are below. It is a remarkable astrological month, without a doubt. Big moves are happening in the sky now. And boy, are these very big moves. The biggest move? Well, it's Jupiter. It will be on the 9th of the month that Jupiter will leave your sign. Jupiter's been in your sign going all the way back to May of last year. And now here we are. And as Jupiter moves forward out of your sign, out of a year that was meant to help you to connect with a more expansive and optimistic sense of self, a clarity about who you are and what matters to you most and first. Now, a year at a time, as we move forward from here, you'll be bringing that understanding to different areas of life. And it starts with your money. The money you earn, the money that you spend. Well, it is going to be now as Jupiter enters this brand new part of the sky. Well, over the course of the next year, you will likely go from one income bracket to possibly a higher income bracket. The other possibility is you end up earning your money differently in a way that feels a whole lot more rewarding personally, or maybe holds a whole lot more potential for prosperity, especially in the fullness of time. But here's the thing, and it isn't always this way, but sometimes, often, Jupiter tries to first create space for more, for new to come in. But what we have here is that space being created in ways that may not necessarily feel comfortable, that may not necessarily feel easy. And I'm so sorry to say, but it does happen. Let's go through some key dates here. As I said, it's the 9th of the month that Jupiter changes signs. And then as we move forward, it is going to be on the 15th that we are going to begin to have Jupiter first squaring Saturn, and then a day later squaring Neptune. We navigate further, and it is going to be on the 21st that the Sun changes signs, and will on the 22nd and 23rd also square both planets, Saturn and Neptune respectively, before moving on. And on the 24th to meet in the sky, the Sun and Jupiter meeting. This is often called the luckiest day of the year. You add to this, the next day we have a new moon that's hand in hand with this conjunction. This would normally be the luckiest new moon of the year. However, this year, a lot of that luck ends up being in the things we don't realize and the things we don't see. The disappointments are setting the stage for bigger blessings, but if we get caught up in the disappointment, well, that's when it can feel that much more difficult. And yes, this year, it's not likely to be the luckiest day of the year, leads to big and bold and beautiful quickly. But rather, there are closures, there are disappointments. They may feel uncomfortable, but in some ways, their time has come. It is on the other side of this, meaning once we enter into July, well, that's when Jupiter will be able to start cultivating blessings for the period ahead, the months ahead. And I'll be here to talk about it every step of the way. And later in June, there will be a Jupiter special horoscope. So be on the lookout for that as well. But for all that, there's powerful energies here this month with this Jupiterian vibe. It is Jupiter in a financial part of your sky. It may not speak to matters of money for many Geminis out there. It might have more to do with healthy self-love and healthy self-esteem. That's also a possibility here. But for all that, remember, what feels like a delay isn't always a denial. What feels like you really, really want it and the feeling you can't have it and it leaves you disappointed, well, actually, that just might end up being the biggest blessing you could have hoped for, especially once you reflect a little bit further down the road. It becomes really important to trust, to be mindful of all that it is that you're hoping for and feeling, and then you do your best and you turn over the rest, trusting that your efforts will count for something in the fullness of time. even if they don't show up so specifically just yet how you might expect them to. Pace yourself and be yourself. I like to say that. Be mindful of what it is and where it is your energy, your resources, including your money, might be going towards. Is that what you really value? Are those possessions you really want to take on? Is this really worth your money or not? Well, you'll find answers that are different than you expect, but uniquely your own. And so that new moon on the 25th, ordinarily that would bring with it new financial opportunities, new income sources, new understandings of healthy self-love and healthy self-esteem. But this time, a lot of that energy ends up feeling confusing, disappointing, but that's part of aligning you with greater prosperity than you've known before. Now, where it comes to matters of love, it is going to be on the 11th of the month that we will have this month's full moon, and that full moon is in your opposite sign. The full moon is speaking in supreme harmony with Mars. I love this energy for you because it is energized. It's exciting and excited. It's filled with promise. And when we have important lunar energy in your opposite sign, it means that someone is there to help you to understand where you are in love and how you feel about it. The thing to remember, though, is just days later, on the 15th, right on the same day that all those Jupiterian vibes start to kick into gear, all those squares start to kick into gear, well, we're also going to have Mars squaring Uranus. And that tends to make for a jolting, if not surprising kind of day that can happen. And it might connect in some way to that full moon energy because Mars is the main planet speaking in supreme harmony with that full moon. You're about to see where you are in love and how you feel about it differently in a way that feels empowering and exciting at first, but there might be some nuances that you're missing about another or maybe about yourself until you see it very clearly in an instant. And it could be a game changer. But it could also be one of those things that you didn't expect, but add an amusing story into the mix. So for those of you open to meeting someone new, I love these energies at play here in the context of new connections. That full moon shows you something about where you are in love, what feels like it lights you up, what it is you're wanting in love. Are you wanting to be swept up off your feet, swept up in a moment of passion, of desire? Well, all of these feelings might stir for you under the light of the full moon. But what they actually meet in the context of someone new you might meet, well, that starts to feel more clear as you navigate this time. For all that, though, it is going to be a month like this that says new connections, very possible. Connections that restore the sense of possibility that you have options available to you, absolutely possible now. For those of you just starting to date someone, a full moon here illuminates whether or not there's a possibility for you to move towards partnership with this person. And whatever you think the answer is under the light of the full moon might look a little different once we navigate just a few days forward after the full moon. So pace yourself and be yourself. I like to say that. But I feel like the more it is you get very caught up in a feeling of rapture and possibility, the more likely it is that that feeling of being kind of shaken, that feeling of kind of realizing, okay, what really happened? What are you really feeling? Why are you feeling it? What's really going on? Like in your mind, all of a sudden, that thing that you hadn't seen or acknowledged that might have been there all along, you see it in an instant. And either it'll have you diving into greater possibility with this person, or it'll make you realize that perhaps you want to go another way. And for those of you in an established bond, look, the overwhelming majority are going to find this a time of connection and camaraderie with this person that you love, a feeling of passion even as well with these energies. And that can be wonderful, a really bonding moment with this person. There is going to be that small percent out there. If you felt for a while that you might not be in the right relationship for you, I think this is where you're able to see it. You're able to find a depth of insight, of clarity, of wisdom even as well as to why you're feeling or thinking what it is that you are. and if that affects the relationship or not. Your answers might not be what you think. There is a surprise element here, but ultimately what happens mid-month, there's something very honest about it, and it helps you to understand who you are, the value you show yourself, and what it is you might want to do next. What I love about this month for you, there's so much here. It's a powerful and meaningful astrological moment. I'm going to say I love the energy of, well, for you, I will say the fact that Jupiter is changing signs, leaving your sign, which means that you're able to take what has been a feeling, what has been an identity this last year, and now start to apply it to make different areas of life better, one at a time in the years ahead. And it starts with your money. It starts with self-love as well. It may not look like that right away, right out of the gate, because this month is quite the roller coaster thanks to that Jupiterian energy. And yet it's exactly what we need to get what we no longer need out of the way. And for you, ultimately, it creates space for greater prosperity to enter. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this each and every week for each and every sign for as low as just $3 a month with Choose Your Membership Rate over at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com or thefutureismagical.com. Higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Links are below. Thank you again for watching. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.